Thanksgiving, everybody. Okay, so first things first, we're going to make this short and sweet. It is Thanksgiving, so I've got church in about an hour, so I can stream with you guys for about 30 minutes, but I didn't want to just leave you guys hanging. You've all been so incredible, and I did promise that we would go over the one, the only Home Alone. It is a tradition in my family to watch it on Thanksgiving Day, and it is something that I intend to carry on until eternity, basically. So without further ado, we'll get right into it. I absolutely adore this movie. I adore all of you. Happy Thanksgiving. I'm so glad that you guys could be here with me for even though it's just a short time. First things first, we'll get the donation side really fast. I appreciate it so much. Raj Williams for $7.91. Happy Thanksgiving. Looking forward to the discussion on Home Alone. Thank you so much. I absolutely am too. This is far and away one of my absolute favorite movies, favorite holiday movies. Like I said, it is a tradition in my family that ever since I was a little kid, we watch Home Alone on Thanksgiving, and it just catapults us into the rest of the holiday season and Christmas, my absolute favorite time of year. I love it. So thank you, Raj, for that. Bastard for $5. Lord Gravemaster wants you to work off the Thanksgiving meal immediately. Yes, I do need to do that. I'm about to have 4 things. I'm on to my second Thanksgiving dinner later this evening. So I can only imagine how tubby I am going to be in just a short little while. But I absolutely adore this movie. This film has a very special incentive. This kid, Kevin, is not a Gary Sue. He 100%, he uses what's at his disposal. He's ingenious about it. He defends his castle while his parents are away from the crooks. I absolutely love it. The cast is amazing. I love that, I don't think that Macaulay Culkin, I don't think anybody else could have played this role because they have tried with other kids. We reject those other Home Alone, as they like to call themselves, movies, because they're not the real Home Alone films. Like, let's be honest, they can't hold a candle to this thing, let alone a torch. But yeah, it's just so great. You get in this first film, he goes to the grocery store and he convinces them, like, you think I'd be here by myself? And then, of course, he pulls that same act in the second one. So the fact that the two movies play so well off of each other is just phenomenal. In this one, I think probably the part that I most relate to is the tiny little Tonka cars. I don't know if you guys have ever stepped on those suckers, but holy good God, they are slippery, they are slick, they go at, whether it's Hot Wheels or Tonka cars, whichever one it is, you will land on your butt and probably break something, depending on your age, quite frankly. Like, I'm shocked I don't have more concussion stories from incidents like that. But, he just, between using the glass Christmas ornaments to protect the window, he's got the blowtorch rigged to the chair, using a film he's not supposed to be watching to sort of scare them off and make them think that he's got a weapon in the house, and it turns out he's got several weapons. I mean, he weaponizes so much stuff. He's a true, I really do feel this is very much in the spirit of MacGyver, because he is using everything that he has at his disposal, from the saran wrap and adhesive to the iron and to the tar, basically tarred and feathered him. He's got his little BB gun. He uses his tree house as an escape. He's got all of these things sort of, figured out. And then when he runs to his neighbor's house, of course, he didn't really foresee how he was gonna get out of that situation, because they're adults. So of course, eventually they do get the better of him. They do cut him off, and he does actually have to be rescued. So he doesn't, he, as this 8-year-old kid, doesn't actually defeat these two bandits entirely by himself. He does have help, which helps definitely with the believability of the whole thing. And I love how at the end, when the wet bandits are getting put into the cop car, the officer is like, smooth move, leaving on the faucets at every house. There's, leaving on all the faucets. Now we know every house that you have hit. And it's just, the exchange of looks and everything like that is just fantastic. The idea that, this kid who doesn't want to spend Christmas with his family, doesn't want to be bullied by his brother, doesn't want to, deal with all of the craziness, because he just gets kind of pushed around. Nobody cares about him. Nobody really wants to talk to him or take him in or do anything with him. They tell him that, um, you know, uh, oh gosh, stuff like, I forget, is it Buzz? Yeah, Buzz shoves all the pizza and just be like, yeah, ate all the cheese pizza. And, I know plenty of kids who the only thing that they want to eat, especially at 8 years old, is cheese pizza. I mean, I've had some really great slices of cheese pizza. Some people say, they're like, oh, if you make cheese pizza right, you don't need any other toppings. I personally do love myself some pepperoni, black olive, mushroom, and spinach pizza, or pepperoni, black olive, mushroom, and green pepper. Or just pepperoni, black olive, and mushroom. Black olives belong on pizza. I don't care what anybody says. It's freaking delicious. You're missing out if you don't try it at least once in your life. It's freaking fantastic. I think as now that I'm a mom myself, I kind of relate to her urgency to sort of, like, when I watch this film, the dad is so much like my dad, just laid back, calm. He's like, hey, there's nothing we can do. Let's just take a deep breath. We'll get there when we get there. We'll do everything we can, but the flight's not going out. Whereas my mom would be this mom. She would be in the back of a budget moving vehicle trying to get back to me as fast as she possibly could. And then, of course, my dad would walk in with all of my siblings and cousins and aunties and uncles and be like, hey, remember that flight you didn't want to wait for? Well, you beat us by like 3 minutes, So the end of this movie is really heartwarming and still hilarious. I love how you get the endings for both 1 and 2, where the first one, it's Buzz, and he's like, what did you do to my room? and then I forget the exact amount of room service, but dad's like, you charge it like $863 on room service or whatever the number is. It's just like, this movie will have you in stitches and you will be talking about it forever. If you've never seen this movie or Home Alone 2, these are definitely holiday must-sees. Like, you have got to put these on your Christmas watch list. It is so funny. And like, I remember thinking as a kid, I'm like, how could a mom forget their own kid? Well, if you actually look at everything that happens, they think Kevin's there. That's why in the second movie, they've got the tickets have the names on them and she's handing them out as they get into the van, and stuff like that. So she's learned from her mistakes, but yeah, like, they were in such a holiday rush, and it's a good lesson because you would be shocked and amazed at the amount of stories of parents leaving their kids in the strangest places. And you know what? Like, kids wander off. Like, it happens. They get curious, or they see something shiny, or, they just feel like giving their parents a heart attack. And so they wander off. And maybe it's because they saw Santa. Maybe it's because they saw a store with ice cream in it. You never really know. I love my children, but one of them shoved magnets up their nose the other day. And while we were using another more powerful magnet to get them out of both nostrils, by the way, shoved a magnet up each nostril. Love my children, but holy good godness. So anyway, so as we're like pulling the magnets out with a stronger magnet, we didn't have to go to the ER, thank God. We're like, why did you do this? And all my child can say is, I don't know, like, just weeping in tears. And I know why. They were curious. They were just like, I wonder what happens if I stick one up each nostril. Well, pain happens because those magnets tried to get together through the middle of their nose. I'm telling you, kids do some like really bizarre, crazy, insane stuff. My children absolutely love this movie. I have told them that they are not allowed to do anything like this, nor are they allowed to try and get left behind so that they can do something like this. Absolutely not. Like, this is not going to happen. And, much to my 9-year-old's dismay, because it would have been so cool to stay home and shoot crooks with a BB gun and shatter all of mom's glass ornaments. Yes, let's do that. That sounds like a great time. But I never could understand. Like, they live in there was actually a meme, and I wonder if I could find it. I bet I could find it, but it's like their house is gorgeous, and they're all going on vacation to, I think it was like I can't remember if it was, I think this one was Paris was what they were trying to go to, and yeah, Florida was the second one. And so I'm just like, I'm just like, what? How could everybody like afford this? You know, like if you look at their house, it's beautiful. Like it is the iconic, like when you think of a white Christmas in a colonial style house, here it is. Okay. So here we go. Ready? You know you're old when you're watching Home Alone and wonder how much their mortgage is. Yes, like how much did this cost? What do you do? What does Kevin's dad do for a living that he can afford this house? Here we go. Here's another. Yes, this is the one that I am referring to. All right, ready? The older I get, the more I wonder what Kevin McAllister's dad did to afford this house and a vacation to Paris for 9 people. Home Alone and its unrealistic financial expectations. Like, this is just freaking, it's true. The older I get, the more I'm like, I want whatever job that is because I want that house. Like, holy goodness. Wouldn't that be awesome? Actually, that's something, you know, when we go around and we do like, what are you thankful for? And it was, and so we do like, what are you thankful for? And like, if you won $1 million or, you know, nowadays $10 million, what would you do with the money? And my nephew has decided that he would just buy Legoland. Nobody has the heart to tell him that Legoland costs way more than $10 million. Like, you could maybe rent it for a day. But yes, so, you know, priorities, of course, of children, you know, 8 years old, let's buy Legoland. Okay. Meanwhile, my 13-year-old nephew is like, you know, I might buy some more video games, comfy chair, a TV, you know, stuff like that. Like we're on the priority train right now. And then my daughter said she wants to buy a horse ranch. I was like, that's my girl. Yes. Oh man, if I could have a horse ranch in South Dakota or Montana or North Dakota or even Idaho, like, sign me up. I'm there. I'm done. I am for it. But yeah, so but yeah, we go around the table and we do that. And I was like, man, if I won $10 million, I'd invest it and keep working for about 5 more years. But yeah, it's just crazy when you hear how people about like what you're thankful for each year. And then, you know, if you were to get this exceptional blessing, what would you do with it? Would you bless others? Would you bless your family? Would you bless yourself? Would you try to be smart with your decisions? You know, so it's really fun to sort of see where everybody ends up and where everybody goes and how you grow or, you know, don't grow over the years. I just think that it's fantastic. The holidays are an excellent marker. And, you know, like, people are like, oh, well, it's so much stress or it's so much work or I don't like my family. You know, I'm not in everybody's personal life. I don't know what it's about, but I do know that especially like movies like Home Alone, you really understand how important family is and how important being together for the holidays are. You know, even if you don't have much. I don't have much. I mean, I wish I could say that I tell my kids no more. I wish I could say I tell my kids no because it's something that they don't need and they could use the character building, as opposed to I have to tell them no simply because I have no option to purchase that for them or to send them to that camp or for them to do that activity. And it was just, it's so you make cookies and you bake and you have those memories to share when you're doing homemade Christmas ornaments and gingerbread houses and cookies. And, you know, we usually take about 3 dozen cookies down to the VFW and to the children's shelter and the women and children's shelter here. And, you know, we make memories that way. And we don't have a lot, but we have a lot more than others. And so I want to make sure that my kids really understand and appreciate everything that we do have. And even though I can't give them everything, I do my best to give them what we can that will help them never feel like they missed out, basically. And a big part of that is just being there with them and making those memories, whether it's cookies or cocoa and movie night, or one of their favorite things now is to do kettle corn, where we make it at home. So there's all kinds of different things you can do. We tried last year to do I don't know if you guys have ever made like the popcorn chains. God bless the women who did that on the regular every year, because that took a level of patience and dexterity that I have no idea how you could possibly manage to do that every single year. I mean, I live in podunk small town nowhere America, and it's nowhere near as fast paced as the cities, and I still don't know how I could find the time to do stuff like that. But um if you can, maybe you can't send them where you want all the time or give them the fanciest or the newest things, but as long as you're there and you love them and you're trying, and you never, this was something, I am a product of public schools, I will say. They've changed quite a bit, which is why my children are not in them. But I I never felt like I was poor growing up, because my mom never made it seem like we were. Like, if my mom, it was a couple days till payday and they had to turn the power off, my mom would just say that we were camping. And I had a freaking blast. Like, we would have flashlights and candles, and we'd go to bed early when the sun went down, and we'd get up when that was really early. We'd get up with the sun, and, we'd pretend like to go on these different adventures. So it's really all how you handle things. And I think that when you live with appreciation for what you have, and that's not to say don't dream of better things or bigger things, or don't have goals or aspirations, but while you're chasing those dreams, make sure you appreciate everything that's around you, because you never know when something that you've taken for granted is suddenly gone. And I think that's a lesson that this movie kind of teaches with the mother. Like, it was always just Kevin, 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 Kevin. Like, they would yell at him, they would push him around, and he was kind of sick of it. But he realizes how much, like, he just wants his mom at the end of it all. Like, he wants his mom and his dad and he says a prayer. He's like, even Buzz. Like, he wants them all back. He realizes that, it was cool for like a day, maybe two, but he wants his family back. He doesn't want them to be disappeared. And his mom realizes that the shouting and the yelling and always kind of like just hustling and trying to deal with Kevin, because he was apparently the problem child. She took all of that for granted, and then it was gone. Suddenly he was not there. And, she's like, we're forgetting something. And then she's like, they think, oh, I've forgotten it. And then he's like, no, I didn't do whatever that was. And she's like, and he goes, that's what it was. And she's like, yeah, that must be it. No, that's not it. And then it's like, oh, Kevin. And so you're like, you're curious about how she's going to react. And of course she just has like a total meltdown, in the plane, and is like, okay, once we land, like, we have to turn around, we have to go back, and she calls it, she's like, I'm a terrible mother. And like, anybody watching it's like, yeah, you are a terrible mother. But at least she realized her mistake. At least she tried to bounce back. At least she was she owned up to it, and then she fought like hell to get back to her child. But yeah, this movie, it's endearing, it's heartfelt, it's hilarious. It's not forced. Like I said, Kevin doesn't come off as a Gary Stu. He comes off as a kid who has been pushed around and was very ingenious and creative when it came to defending his home, to defending his parents' home, and just used what was around him. And I think it would have been interesting if, if they hadn't stuck to the timetable he expected them to. But he, they did. And like that, and that's stuff that works. But I think, there's just these little moments, like when he goes to the church, or like when he hides as one of the three wise men in the manger in front of the church when he's running away. There's all of these little different things that give you nod to, the Christmas season and the Christmas spirit and what it's really about, and really how this hustling and bustling and running around like a chicken with your head cut off for the holidays, none of that matters if you don't have people that you want to spend the holidays with. And, you have traditions for a reason. You have family and or friends for a reason, and no one should be alone this time of year. And it's not about the gifts. You shouldn't feel pressured to get the most expensive or the most beautiful or the coolest gift, whether you're giving it or receiving it. Make sure that whatever gift it is that you're deciding on it for the right reasons, whether you think the person is going to truly enjoy it, or maybe it's a piece from you, whatever it may be. Because Kevin puts presents under the tree because, like, that's part of Christmas. That's a tradition. That's something he and his family do, and he misses them terribly. So for all of it to sort of come together the way that it did, this movie, it really just hits all the right notes. And it's one of the few, I watch this movie, random times of the year, but I always make sure to watch it on Thanksgiving with my kids. It's with my family. Like it's something that is enjoyable for everybody. It's funny no matter your age. Different things are going to be funny at different times. I love when he steps on the nail, because he's got to take off his socks and his shoes, and then he's like, ripping his feet up off of the tar, and then he steps on the nail, and I'm like, how did he not see the nail? Well, if you're looking down and you're solely focused on just getting one foot up out of the tar or out of the stickiness, I guess it's entirely possible that you miss the shiny, brand new silver nail that is sticking straight up, waiting and begging for you to step on it. But it's just, oh man, this whole movie the pacing is fantastic. The jokes all land. The family is relatable. I mean, the craziness of the holidays comes through. This show hits it all. And Home Alone 2 also hits every note. Like, it doesn't miss a beat. You guys, if it's been a while since you've watched it, or you've never watched it, cannot recommend this movie highly enough. And if you have watched, like, say you watched it yesterday, okay, watch it again today. It's a great way to kick off the holiday season, and really get into the spirit and just laugh. I mean, we do not laugh enough anymore in this day and age, and everybody could use a lot more of it. There's so many throwbacks, and there's so much wit in this movie, and you just buy into every second of it, because it's everything that you are hoping and more. It really is. You get so much for and it's not that long of a movie. It really isn't. And this film delivers something that I don't think any modern film today ever possibly could. And that is just like, this is slapstick is kind of a push, because it's pretty, like, this is, I think the Three Stooges would honestly be impressed with the level of carnage that is in this film. It will just brighten your day. No matter what kind of holiday season you're having, this will just make you chuckle, like bust a gut, have you in stitches, rolling on the floor, laughing your badonkadonk off. It is a great time for everybody to be had. I had another donation come in. So it's from Cal G for $2.50. Thank you so much. Says, just putting some green in your pocket. I really genuinely appreciate that. Happy Thanksgiving. Also, anything after Home Alone 2 Lost in New York doesn't exist. They're trash. Looking at you, Disney. Yes, absolutely. Cal G nailed it right on the head. There are only 2 Terminator films. There are only 2 Home Alone films. There are only 3 Indiana Jones films, and there are only 6 Star Wars films. Oh, man. But yes, it is we are coming full force into the holiday season. It is going to be, I hope, fantastic for everybody. I really, truly hope that you all have just an absolute blast this holiday. Whatever that means to you, whatever that looks like for you, I really do hope that it is one of the absolute best. As far as Home Alone goes, I would have to give this movie a solid 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, the casting is spot on, the jokes all land, the wit is there. The timelessness is what makes this movie relatable. And it's so just such a great family time. Hopefully it can maybe become a tradition for your family too. Something that you all can enjoy together, because when it comes down to it, we need to stop looking for reasons to be divisive or something to divide us, and really find what brings us together. Because the truth of the matter is, we're all each other has. Like, I've got you, you've got me, we're all stuck in this crazy tree. Yeah, that rhymed and it was quite terrible, but I've made that up on the fly. It's true. Like, we are literally all that each other has. Like, it's not like a new me is going to just like poof appear right next to me and you get to deal with that one. I mean, it's not how it works. So make sure that you've got the good people in your life, and maybe they can help you improve. Maybe you can help them improve. But all I know is life is way too short to be looking for reasons to hate each other. There's enough of that going around as it is. But especially around the most wonderful time of the year, make sure that you're doing what needs doing for you and yours, whatever that looks like, and just really truly enjoy each other. It's all we got. So I am actually going to dash out a little bit early. I've got church, and then I've got a second Thanksgiving dinner, and then movies after that. So it's going to be a late night for me. But Nerdrotic is going to be going live in, I think, like 30 minutes or so, maybe 45. And so he'll be live over there for any of you that have maybe already had your dinner, and are just, trying not to slip into that turkey coma on the couch, and you're just sort of looking for something to do. Or if you're not in America and you're not celebrating Thanksgiving and you want something to hang out with, or somebody to hang out with, and do something for your Thursday, for just your regular Thursday night, whatever that may entail. So yeah, Nerdrotic will be going live. I think a few other people are going live. I think Drinker just was live. So there's a couple of things floating around. And I guess Nerdrotic is going live like right now almost. So yeah, like I guess 10 minutes it'll be over there. But have a very happy, incredible Thanksgiving, everybody. Thank you so much for stopping by. I know this one was short and sweet, like I said it would be, but it's there is no rest for the wicked, isn't that what they say? So everybody have a wonderful night. By all means, take one of my traditions and watch Home Alone and Home Alone 2. Get ready for the holiday season. Really enjoy yourselves and your loved ones tonight. Much love to you all, and I think the next time I'll be live is actually over on Lethal Lightning's channel on this Saturday night. We're going to be talking Sailor Moon because it's the last Saturday of the month. And Miss Martin Saturday morning. I think I've got another Thanksgiving supper on at like noon my time. So I don't know if I'm going to make Miss Martin's, but I'm going to try. So all of you have a fantastic night, and I will see you all later. Much love. Happy Thanksgiving. Blessings to all.